think of GOTA, functional patterns, all of these things, right? They don't have a language for what they're talking about. It's again, it's a lot of visual stuff, right? But you'll see, these guys, they're overpronating, they're going into valgus, whatever it is biomechanically. We see sometimes one shoulder's elevated, all of this stuff. When it's like, why is that happening? It's not because you need to lift your other shoulder. It's not because you need to roll your foot to the other direction, right? It's literally because you've been consistently putting yourself in the weaker angle over and over and over again. Now, if we do that with high speed, high resistance or load and or fatigue, the risk for injury goes up and up. Well, why? Because it's harder to switch directions when you're in the weak angle,
Okay. Okay.
right?
And this,
So,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is kind of like now it's kind of like I'm starting to connect the dots. What Marv was trying to express, but he just didn't quite have the words, like the language to put it through. But I'm that yeah, that makes more sense how all injuries happen in the weak angle. Um, Let me ask you this.
And
Uh,
that's the trick, right? It's the trick. Having that, not having the code for it. Well, then how are you supposed to go train it? How are you supposed to go replicate it? Right? A
right.
lot of that stayed in Marv's head,
Yeah. Right.
right? So, anyways, go ahead.
Well, have you ever thought about why this even exists in human beings?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever gone back and tried to do a thought experiment? Like, why does I mean, why does this? Let's take it even further. Why this even shows up in all biology? Because I was looking at, I used to study a lot of animals, right, to understand. Like when I was like watching a gazelle.
I forgot you love this part because I love this part too. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, oh yeah. Here we go. You know how I get going. I always got to go back to the beginning of time and bring it up again. So when I was really trying to understand like this training, like plyometrics, how it works, I was working with Nick Kirsten back in like 2016. I was watching this video footage of this little gazelle getting water, out of like a small watering hole in Africa, and a crocodile lunged to get it, and the gazelle jumped and yeah, just snapped away from the crocodile and didn't get captured by it. And I remember thinking like, that gazelle has no muscle. It has it's all tendon. And I'm like, okay, this is making sense. But one thing I did notice, like when I'm looking through things even further, I noticed like, well, tigers can jump really high and gazelles can jump really high, but they have different anatomical structures. And I also noticed when I was looking at this one documentary, this tiger had one leg stronger than the other. One of its front legs had more hypertrophy, more musculature than the other. And I'm like, oh, these kind of asymmetrical imbalances, like this is kind of just a part of biology. Like you're going to see this like in every kind of animal, including us. So I like did you ever kind of like take these journeys or make these observations to try to figure out like like where this all comes from? Because some people are like, oh my god, like I have this imbalance, and like they like hit their head against the wall, like I don't know why my body is the way this. And a lot of times I tell them like, dude, you could be born this way. Like some of this could be genetic, right? And you have to re-stimulate your body and reactivate, I think, like the epigenetics to try to correct what's going on with your biology. Like what do you think about that kind of like thought experiment? Do you ever kind of dive down those rabbit holes for yourself to come to land where you landed?
No, absolutely. At one point, I was super into this, primarily because my specialty is on why girls tear their ACLs more than boys. Right. So at the end of the day, fundamentally, whether we want to get into it or not or whatever, boys and girls are different, right? And that
Oh,
X
yeah.
that X and Y chromosome, right? As you boil human existence down, literally down to the basics, everything about our genotype, right, that expresses our phenotype, right, starts with X and Y, right? And so that's the fundamental split when you look at the human species, right? And
Hmm.
not all organisms have a sex, right?
Right.
And so there's differences in those sexual characteristics. So I got super into this studying the uh, anthropology, and actually at one point I thought about trying to go back and getting a PhD in anthropology. I thought it was such a cool subject of going back because it also relates to economics, and economics is trying to be this kind of resourceful human to get our needs in a scarce environment, which again you know my Christian background, which goes back to the Bible